I've decided to start a new life without you." The words hung in the air of the upscale restaurant where we'd gathered to celebrate my daughter's college graduation. Gregory, my husband of 28 years, stood with his champagne glass still raised, his announcement displacing the toast he was supposed to be making to Amelia's achievements. The clinking of silverware ceased. Conversations halted mid-sentence. 50 pairs of eyes darted between Gregory and me, waiting for my reaction, for the tears, the shouting, the dramatic exit everyone expected. Instead, I smiled. "Congratulations on your honesty. My name is Bianca Caldwell. I am 54 years old, and until this moment I had been playing the role of the devoted wife and mother perfectly. I put my own career aspirations on hold to support Gregory through 3 business ventures, 2 career changes, and countless finding himself phases. I raised our brilliant daughter, Amelia, who sat beside me now, her graduation cap still perched on her head, her expression frozen in horror. From the corner of my eye, I could see Cassandra Wells, Gregory's much younger girlfriend, shifting uncomfortably at the back table, where she sat with people I had considered friends for decades, same friends who apparently knew about the affair but never thought to tell me, the same Cassandra who had attended our Christmas parties, who had once called me for advice about her career. With practiced calm, I reached into my handbag and pulled out a sealed cream-colored envelope. I placed it gently beside Gregory's plate. "What's this?" he asked, his triumphant expression faltering. "Something for you to read later," I replied, keeping my voice steady. I turned to Amelia, whose face had gone pale. I kissed her cheek. "I am so proud of you, sweetheart. This day is still about your accomplishment." Then I stood, smoothed my dress and addressed our stunned guests. "Please enjoy your meal. I wish you all a lovely afternoon." With that, I walked out of the restaurant, my head held high, feeling 50 pairs of eyes following me. The heavy door swung shut behind me, cutting off the beginning of anxious murmurs. Outside, the Augusta summer heat hit me like a wall, but I welcomed it. For the first time in years, I could breathe freely. Behind me, I heard the restaurant door open and slam shut, followed by Gregory's voice, no longer confident, but high-pitched and frantic. "Bianca, what the hell is this? What have you done?" I kept walking, allowing myself a small smile. The envelope I'd handed him contained the beginning of my revenge. One I'd been meticulously planning for months. I had always been the practical one in our marriage. While Gregory dreamed big and took risks, I maintained the stability our family needed. I was the one who saved for Amelia's education when Gregory invested unwisely in his friend's restaurant venture. I was the one who worked extra hours as a finance manager at Travanta Corp. When his midlife crisis led him to quit his stable position to follow his passion. Selling handcrafted furniture, a passion that lasted approximately 6 months before he grew bored. My own dreams, opening a financial consultancy for women, were perpetually on hold. After Amelia graduates, I told myself. After Gregory finds stability, 3 months ago, I noticed discrepancies in our joint accounts, small transfers to an account I didn't recognize. Having spent 20 years managing our family finances, these irregularities stood out like red flags. I could have confronted Gregory immediately, but something held me back. Perhaps it was intuition, or perhaps it was the growing distance between us over the past year. Instead, I began quietly investigating. What I discovered was worse than I imagined. Gregory had been systematically moving funds to a separate account for over a year. He had also been taking Cassandra to expensive restaurants, purchasing jewelry, and looking at beachfront property, all while telling me we needed to tighten our belts for retirement. Then came the text messages I discovered when Gregory left his phone unlocked. Messages about their new life together. Messages about how he was finally breaking free. Messages about their plans for the day after Amelia's graduation, the day he had chosen to make his grand exit from our marriage. What Gregory had forgotten, or perhaps never fully grasped, was that I had been a financial professional for 30 years. I understood money trails. I knew how to trace assets, and most importantly, I remembered the prenuptial agreement we had signed 28 years ago, when I had more family money than he did. The agreement he had insisted upon, ironically, to protect his future earnings, contained a fidelity clause that would prove to be his undoing. While Gregory plotted his escape with Cassandra, I was building my case. I consulted with attorneys, I documented every hidden transfer, I gathered evidence of their affair, and I prepared divorce papers. I timed everything perfectly. Knowing Gregory would want to wait until after Amelia's graduation to avoid ruining her big day. What he didn't expect was that I would serve the divorce papers the morning of the graduation. before his planned announcement, but with the papers still safely hidden in court records, not yet accessible to him. What Gregory didn't know was that I was always 3 steps ahead. I didn't return to the restaurant. Instead, I drove to our home, a spacious colonial in Augusta's historic district that we had purchased 15 years ago, the house that Gregory had already promised to Cassandra according to text messages that he didn't realize I had seen. Parked in the driveway, and calmly entered what had been our shared space for over a decade. Everything looked the same. The family photos on the walls, the antique grandfather clock that had been my father's, the worn leather couch where Gregory and I had once dreamed of our future together. Yet everything had changed. I went upstairs to the master bedroom and opened the closet. Gregory's clothing was already packed in suitcases, hidden in the back, ready for his planned departure tomorrow. I smiled at his predictability. He had always been meticulous about clothing but careless about the important things. My phone buzzed incessantly with messages from friends at the restaurant, from Amelia, even from Gregory's sister Diana, who had flown in for the graduation. I responded only to my daughter. "I'm okay. This isn't your burden to carry. Enjoy your graduation day, we'll talk tonight. I love you." I had protected Amelia from the truth for months, not wanting to overshadow her final semester with family drama. She would be angry that I hadn't told her, but I knew she would understand eventually. Amelia had inherited my practicality, along with her father's charisma, a powerful combination that had helped her graduate with honors. 3 hours later, I heard Gregory's car in the driveway. The front door slammed open. "Bianca," he shouted, his voice echoing through the house. "Where are you?" I was sitting in the living room, calmly reviewing documents on my laptop. I closed it as he stormed in, his face flushed with anger, the envelope clutched in his hand. "What is the meaning of this?" he demanded, waving the papers. "You served me with divorce papers today, of all days." "I thought it aligned nicely with your plans," I replied calmly. "You wanted to start your new life? I'm simply helping facilitate the transition. You had no right to." "I had every right," I interrupted, my voice steady. "Just as you had every right to choose, Cassandra. We all make choices." "Gregory, the prenup expired years ago," he said, his voice suddenly smug. "Any lawyer will tell you that." I allowed myself a small smile. Actually, it didn't. Section 12 specifically states that the fidelity clause remains in effect for the duration of the marriage. His smugness faltered. "Your lawyer should have explained that to you." "Oh wait, you didn't consult one, did you?" The color drained from his face as reality sank in. The prenup he had insisted upon to protect his potential wealth would now cost TM everything: the house, the vacation property in Savannah, his portion of our retirement accounts. His grand gesture at the restaurant had just become the most expensive announcement of his life. "You can't do this to me," Gregory said, collapsing onto the couch. "We built this life together, and you chose to end it," I replied, though not in the way you planned. Gregory's phone buzzed persistently in his pocket. He glanced at it, then ignored it. Cassandra, no doubt, wondering where he was and why he wasn't following their carefully orchestrated plan. "You've always been calculating, Bianca, but this is cold," he said, trying a different approach. "What about our history? 28 years together means nothing." I studied him, this man I had loved for nearly 3 decades. The man who had held my hand through 2 miscarriages before we had Amelia. The man who had once surprised me with a weekend trip to Charleston for our 10th anniversary. When had he changed? Or had he always been this person and I had been too devoted to notice? "Our history meant everything to me," I answered truthfully. "That's why your betrayal hurt so deeply." His expression softened momentarily, perhaps seeing an opening. "Then maybe we can fix this. I made a mistake. People make mistakes. This wasn't a mistake, Gregory. This was a calculated plan, spanning more than a year. You systematically moved our money. You looked at property with her. You planned to announce our separation publicly, to humiliate me." His face hardened again. "You're exaggerating." "Am I?" I picked up my phone, opened the recording app, and played his own voice. "After the graduation, I'll tell her it's over. A public setting is better. She won't make a scene in front of everyone." Then Cassandra's voice. "And she has no idea about the money." Gregory again. "None. Bianca trusts me completely. That's her weakness." The blood drained from his face. "You recorded our conversations? That's illegal." "Not in Georgia. When one party consents," I responded. "And not when it's in your own home." "I didn't record your private moments with Cassandra. I'm not cruel. Just the conversations about your plans to defraud me. Gregory stood suddenly, agitated. I need to make some calls, of course, I said. Your attorney might be a good start. I'll be staying at Diana's tonight. Diana's. He sputtered. My sister's house. I nodded. She's quite upset with you actually. She was the one who first spotted you and Cassandra together last Christmas. She didn't tell me immediately. She confronted you first. You promised her it was nothing, that you would end it. When she realized you hadn't, she came to me. This was another blow he hadn't anticipated. Diana and I had always been close, but Gregory never imagined his own sister would choose my side. Everyone's betraying me, he muttered. Ironic, isn't it? I said. I gathered my purse and a small overnight bag I had packed earlier. You have until tomorrow evening to remove your things from the house. After that, the locks will be changed. As I headed toward the door, Gregory called after me, desperation in his voice. What about Amelia? Have you thought about how this affects her? I paused, anger finally breaking through my calm facade. Don't you dare use our daughter as a shield, Gregory. You certainly weren't thinking about her when you were planning your new beachfront life with Cassandra. His phone buzzed again. This time he looked at it and groaned. Problem? I asked. Cassandra is at the apartment already. She's moved her things in. I couldn't help but smile. The apartment you put in both your names, the lease you signed last month. Gregory nodded, looking confused. You might want to check with the leasing office. That application was flagged for credit issues and never completed. The agent called our home phone to verify information. I handled it myself. I walked out the door, leaving Gregory to face the first of many consequences. His perfectly planned new life was unraveling faster than he could process.